Then there was also a very interesting book by a specialist of a Jewish Kabbalah who shows that all Kabbalah has the function of to make the gods, making the gods. But then, from this perspective, acclamations, and more generally, all rituals aiming to God's glorification are not, as theologians claim, a consequence of divine power and glory. On the contrary, they produce and nourish them. This means that also profane acclamations and ceremonies, of which sovereign powers is so eager, are not an outcome of power, but rather what generates or feeds power. Now, for the second book, Carl Schmitt's Doctrine of the Constitution. What struck me in this book was his amazing analysis of the juridical value of acclamations. I already knew that in ancient Rome, as you probably know, the emperor was formally invested with the title of Caesar by the army, by the soldiers, and that this ceremony of investiture had the technical form of an acclamation. So the emperor was acclamated emperor by the soldier. And this was technically the investiture. The acclamations and doxologies in the church liturgy also could be seen as the expression of the consensus of the people, of the believers. But Schmitt tries to link this old juridical political phenomenon with modern democracies and defines the acclamation as the pure and immediate expression of the people as holder of constituent power. I quote, the acclamation, he writes, is the original and eternal phenomenon of every political community. No state without people, no people without acclamation. So I began to think that acclamation was a very serious thing. Perhaps one can think that today we have no more acclamation. So anyway, you know how strong was the function of acclamation in totalitarian regime. No? No acclamation was so important as Heil Hitler in the German regime or Duce Duce in the Italian fascist acclamation. No? But one could see that is no more the case. But on the contrary, it is the case. Schmitt claims that in modern democracies, this original phenomenon survives in the form of public opinion. That is to say, that public opinion is the modern form of acclamation. I think that this time also he's right. So if this be true, then the sphere of glory does not disappear in modern democracy, but rather it is simply displaced in another and wider sphere. And if the media are so important in modern democracy, technically, juridically important, this is not simply because they allow to control and govern public opinion, but also because in this way they distribute and bestow glory. We could even say that modern society is a glorious society, the most glorious society ever in the history, in which the function of glory frees itself from its traditional link with liturgy and spreads over every aspect of social life. The liturgies and ceremonies in the ancient regime were limited to certain moment, but now the media spread the glory in every moment of social life. And from this point of view, what Guy Debord calls société du spectacle, spectacular society, you know, Guy Debord's definition, the last phase of capitalism is a spectacular society. So this is a society in which glory becomes indiscernible from economy and government. The identification of economy and glory in the acclamatory form of media and consensus is, in this sense, the salient feature of a contemporary democracy. So now, I'm afraid that my attempt to sum up in a short lecture the result of research of many years was an impossible task. Through this theological pattern of economy, I tried to cast some light on the modern figure of a power, that is to say, governance. But in the end, this figure showed itself to be inseparable from glory, and even to be essentially the same as glory. The relationship between economy and glory is, in this sense, the very core of the Western modern governmental machine. The ultimate figure of power is therefore not government and action, but rather inoperativity and inaction. And what glory has to cover with its splendor, what power can neither think nor accept, is the end of government, is divine inaction or leisure. Or, to put it differently, the aim of glory is perhaps to capture and control this inactivity and to transform it into the secret and precious nourishment